Good afternoon, geometry scholars. Today, with me out here in New Mexico and you back in Arkansas, we're going to be reviewing some of the basics that we learned 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now, and just kind of catch up to where we are before we add on anything new. And again, if you can remember, Z's, B's, and 180 degrees, you're going to find that so much of this turns simple. And maybe the second time around, as you look at it again, you'll be able to be sure you understand how in the world they come up with these numbers. All right, first of all, how many degrees in a straight line? If you can remember, for instance, what is the straight line? The line is one with double arrows. A single arrow, like this guy right here, a ray. So you have a ray, you have a line, and then just plain with no arrows is a line, just a segment of a line. But let's take a look at what happens. Can you tell me? And again, you can pause this if you don't have something to write with, if you don't have something to write on. And that way you can keep up and you can use this now on your assignment and quiz at the end of class. Let's take a look at this first one up here. Angle AOC, first of all. You see angle AOC? What's the vertex of angle AOC? Let's look at that again. See if you remember what a vertex is. All right, the vertex is going to be, if AOC, that's AOC, the vertex is right there at O. Being able to name the angles and find the angles, we're going to play with some a little bit more. But right now, how many degrees in angle AOC? How many degrees right there? Well, they're 180 degrees in a straight line, so 180. Subtract what we've already got here, 60. And that's going to leave you 120 degrees. If you need a calculator, you might need a calculator today. You can get one there at the front of the room. And again, if you get up and leave this, don't leave it running. You can just put it on pause. If I'm in the classroom, you can't do that, but now you can. All right, let's look at angle. Let's do angle COB, angle Cobb. How many degrees in angle Cobb? Again, you take 180, that's an entire straight line, and you subtract the 135, and you're going to come up with 45 degrees. Okay, 180 degrees a straight line, being able to read an angle. Let's see if we can take it to the next step up. Now I've got something with 2, 3, 4, 5 angles. So I'm going to just write some up here. Let's see if you can do it. How about angle? How many degrees in angle BAD? What's a bad angle? How many degrees in angle BAD? Be careful, be careful. First of all, find where BAD is, even if you have to kind of trace it with your fingers. BAD is that whole thing. So it's not 65. But you do see the box, and so you're going to have a 90-degree angle. How about how many degrees, now we get a little bit trickier, how many degrees in angle, let me change colors here a little bit, how about angle EAD, angle EAD. Again, it's going to be important for you to find where those angles are. Start with E, because that's where this is. E, go to the vertex of A, and then out to D. Remember, we can't call this angle A, because angle A is the vertex of all 5 angles. All we have to do, we have to be able to break it down into EAD or DAE. But let's go with EAD. How many degrees? Well, let's see. This time, here's my straight line right there. And in that straight line, I have 3 angles. I have one that's 25 degrees, and another that's 65 degrees. I got these two guys. How much of it did they eat up? Well, I can take my 180 degrees and subtract those, and I come to 90 degrees. So EAD is also 90 degrees. Now, while we're here, though, take a look at this one. Can you tell me how many degrees in angle BAC, angle back? Angle BAC, right? So we're going B to A to C. We want to know how many degrees there. This is where, again, you only have three options to worry about. Do you see a Z? No, because there are no parallel lines. Do you see a V? Or 180 degrees? Well, here's what I see. I see this 25, and then I see a V right across the street from it. That means BAC must also equal 25 degrees. All right? And that brings us up to, let's take another step here. This is a good one. Now we have 6 angles. Let's take this one, and again, you can pause it, you can slow this down, but if you can look at, see how many degrees in angle AGE. How many degrees in angle AGE? AGE. We've got 180 degrees. We're going to subtract 80, and then we're going to subtract 85 because, guys, I have a straight line right here. And so these 3 angles together are going to make a straight line. So if I can subtract those, I'm going to end up with 15 degrees is all that's left for this guy right there. Now, let's get a little more difficult. How about angle BGC? First of all, find BGC. Then look for V's, G's, and Z's, V's, and 180 degrees. B to G to C. So we're looking for this angle right there. Now, it looks to be 90, but you can't guess that it's 90 unless it has that box. B to G to C. There are a couple ways we can do this. The easiest way is find a V, because, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. I've got a V here, and it's right up back to back with that V. That means BGC has to be 80 degrees. And do you also see that I've got DGF right here, back to back with this one, so this has to be 85. And then I've got these 2 back-to-back V's, so that one has to be 15. Look for V's, look for Z's, look for 180 degrees, and be able to name the angles. And that is not angle G, because angle G is the vertex of a lot of angles. Let's go back to parallel lines. Parallel lines, first of all, what you're going to see is they will label it for you. A is parallel to CD, or AB is parallel to CD. Well, let's take a look at example. Let's take a look at this bottom left one first. If 1 is 65, to me the easiest one is 4. How many degrees in angle 4? Well, I've got a V and a V, back-to-back V's, so this has to be 65. Then I would jump to a Z. See the Z? Boom, and boom, and boom. This has to be 65. And then we've got a V, so he is also 65. Z's and V's. Now let's look for 180 degrees, because it's all super easy once you get to there. Let's say that we've got now 180 degrees in this straight line right there. So 180 in the straight line, subtract the 65 that we have right here. And that's going to leave 115 degrees for number 2. We'll take it to 3. You see the V's? So 3 is going to be 115. Now take the Z. It's a backward Z, guys, but see, check that out. Check that out. You got a Z, so that's 115, and you got another V, so there's 115. There are other ways to do that, but that's pretty straightforward. Look for Z's, V's, and 180 degrees. Look at the problem up in the upper right here. See if you can figure out how many degrees in angles 1 and 2. Again, you might see it a different way, but I see this Z right there. So that's 115. And then I see a V right there. So they're back to back. That's 115. 2 is 115. And now I've got a straight line. And so if I subtract that from 180, this one is also 65. And then I can go back through. I can go to a V. I can go to a Z. I can go to a V. I can go to a V right here. So that's 115. Look for Z's, V's, 180 degrees. And you're going to find them. You can come back to these. Let's just do one more. I think you've got the idea. How about if angle 1 is 110 degrees? Can you give me all the rest of them? I'd go 4, 5, 8. And 2, 3, 6, 7. 4 is going to be a V. So it's got 110. 5 is a Z. It's 110. 8 is a V. It's 110. Now I've got 180 degrees in 1 and 2. It's a straight line. So let's see if we can run down those. This can be 70, a V 70, a Z 70, another Z 70, V. Z's, V's, and 180 degrees. Let me take you now to this next one. This is where a little bit of algebra skills and where some of you are a little bit hesitant, not quite as brave to tackle this, but I've got a straight line here. And we're going to keep coming back to this one because I saw more of you struggle with this one than I had originally thought. And so we're going to go back to your skills in Algebra 1. I know that this angle right here, 2x, I'm just going to write it right here, plus this angle. If I add the two together, I get how many degrees? Well, it is a straight line. So I'm going to get 180 degrees. Those two added together add up to 180. Now get the families together. 2x plus 3x is 5x is 180. How do I get rid of the 5? Yes, we divide by 5. And if you didn't catch that one right away, you can go back and look at it. And I divide 180 by 5. And what do I get? Should get 36 degrees. So x is 36 degrees. Now I can put that back in, but I want to do the second one with you first, and then we'll finish this up. Let's take a look at what we've got here. This time I have an x and a 2x that add up to a straight line. So an x plus a 2x equal 180. Get your x's together. 3x equals 180. Divide each side by 3. You know what x equals? 180 divided by 3 is going to be 60 degrees. Now, if they want to know, if they give you this one, they want to know, they don't want to just know x, they want to know what is the measure of the angle, like COB. First of all, you're going to have to remember, well, this is COB. Well, it's x. And x is 60. And so 60 degrees is there. How about the other one? The angle on the left. Well, it's 2 times 60, which is 120. Now let's go back up to this top one. If x is 36, 2 times 36 is going to be, let me get a color that'll stand out. 2 times 36 is going to be 72. 3 times 36, because that's what it is 3 times x. 3 times 36 is going to be 108. And now you can do x, and you can also do the angle. All right, what you're going to do is you're going to do a short assignment and then take a quiz. On the assignment, you can work with somebody. If there's somebody you feel can help you, or you can help somebody, behave, respect the sub. They're doing me a major favor, and they're doing the Native American kids out here a major favor. So work with them. Remember, no AirPods, no telephones, and keep those away while you're in the ad building. But right now, work on that. And then when you take the quiz, do that solo. Have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll see you by YouTube tomorrow.